Hey guys, listen, everyone's prepping for collapse like it's a movie. Stockpiling MREs, flexing bug out bags, showing off solar panels they barely know how to use. But here's the truth no one's ready for. It's not the expensive gear that saves you when the lights go out. It's the stuff you forgot, the tools you didn't think twice about. The products sitting quietly in your house right now, cheap, ignored, and one crisis away from becoming lifesavers. Because when things break and help doesn't come, the flashy stuff gets stolen. The viral gear runs dry, and the only people who survive are the ones who saw value where others saw junk. In this video, I'm breaking down 7 surprising, under-the-radar products that might just keep you alive when collapse hits. No hype, no luxury, just raw survival, one overlooked item at a time. And just so we're clear, this channel doesn't tell you what to buy. We show you what's possible before it's too late. Let's dive in. Number 1. Wheeled mop bucket. You've probably rolled one around without thinking, cleaning floors, emptying dirty water, annoying to store, easy to ignore. But in a crisis, that mop bucket with wheels quietly becomes one of the smartest survival tools in your entire house. Because when the grid fails, when water no longer flows at the turn of a tap, your biggest daily challenge won't be food. It'll be liquid, clean water, dirty water, drinking water, bath water, wastewater, and trust me, carrying gallons of it with your bare hands gets painful real fast. That's where this humble plastic bucket earns its place. First, it moves weight. A 5-gallon mop bucket holds over 18 liters of liquid. That's around 40 pounds more than most adults can carry safely. But put it on wheels? Suddenly, you're moving essential water supplies from a nearby stream or pump without breaking your back. In a world where injuries are dangerous and tools are limited, that mobility can save lives. Second, it's multifunctional. You can use it to haul water to your cooking station, soak clothes for washing, pre-fill with soapy water for sanitation, store melted snow or rain, even set up a basic foot cleaning station to prevent infections. And the best part? It's already built to contain filth. That means the plastic is thick, leak-resistant, and designed to handle harsh chemicals, meaning it won't rot, warp, or crack easily under pressure. That's more than you can say for most collapsible containers or garden buckets. Got a wringer attached to it? Even better. You now have a low-tech water press for wringing out towels, bandages, or even soft clothes without using your hands. And if things get worse, that bucket becomes an emergency toilet base. Line it with a trash bag, add a seat or a lid, and you've got yourself a hygiene solution that's way more civilized than a hole in the ground. Most people walk right past it, hide it in closets, treat it like clutter. But after a collapse, they'll be the ones scrambling to carry water in old paint cans and broken Tupperware. You'll roll your way through it. Because real survival isn't about stockpiles. It's about using what you already had better than anyone else. Number 2. Childproof cabinet locks. They were never made for survival, just to stop curious toddlers from getting into cleaning supplies or sharp knives. But childproof cabinet locks? They might be one of the smartest items to repurpose when the world stops working. Because after a collapse, when panic sets in and people start breaking into homes, cabins, storage spaces, or when you're on the move and carrying supplies in portable containers, you'll realize one harsh truth. You don't just need to protect your supplies from the environment, you need to protect them from people. That's where these simple little locks change the game. They're lightweight, silent, and don't require electricity. But more importantly, they're strong enough to stop drawers, cabinets, or bins from being opened quickly. That slows down looters. It delays desperate hands. It keeps your most valuable items secure while buying you precious seconds, because sometimes that's all you need. These locks are also incredibly useful for mobile preppers. If you're bugging out with a backpack or tote bins, these straps can seal gear shut during transport so nothing spills or opens accidentally. And if you're storing gear in a shared shelter or camp, you don't always want something as obvious as a padlock that screams, "valuables inside." These locks blend in. They're subtle security. Not to mention, they're perfect for childproofing your own gear in a chaotic environment. Fire-starting tablets, knives, matches, medicine, one moment of distraction, and a child could be holding something deadly. But with these installed on a basic crate or drawer, you've bought yourself peace of mind. They can also be used for off-label hacks like strapping together tent poles, tying up tarps in wind, even as temporary fasteners for broken zippers or packs. Some models come with adhesive strips, others use hook mechanisms. Either way, they're easy to install, hard to rip off, and don't take up any space. And while they may not stop a full-scale intruder, they'll stop the casual grab, the curious hand, or the quick snatch, and sometimes that's exactly what you need. Most people toss these out after their kids grow up, or never use them in the first place. But in a crisis, they become quiet protectors, the kind that work without noise, batteries, or attention. When the world collapses, you'll wish you had more than locks on your doors. You'll wish you had locks inside your own home, too, and this cheap little strip might be the only thing standing between your supplies and a stranger's hand. Number 3, toilet paper roll tubes. They're the first thing people throw away without thinking. Just a brown cardboard tube in the middle of a toilet paper roll. But when the crisis hits and you're living without power, heat, or convenience, that empty little tube might suddenly become one of the most useful tools in your entire home. Because survival isn't about stockpiles. It's about repurposing the ordinary. And this one overlooked cylinder? It's quietly brilliant. First off, it's one of the best emergency fire starters you'll ever use. Stuff it with dryer lint, shredded paper, or cotton soaked in wax, and you've got a slow-burning ignition source that's easy to light and easy to pack. You don't need fancy fire kits or commercial bricks. You just need what's already sitting in your bathroom trash can. Second, those cardboard tubes are perfect for organizing gear in a world where clutter becomes chaos. Store cables, fishing lines, matches, tea bags, or even bandages inside them. Mark each tube with a label and stack them in a shoebox. You've just created a silent, low-cost survival drawer. And when your hands are shaking or your camp is dark, that kind of order becomes priceless. But it doesn't stop there. You can cut them into seedling starters for growing herbs or food. They biodegrade fast, which means you can plant the entire tube in soil, no transplant shock, no plastic waste. In a grid-down situation where every bit of food production matters, these little tubes become farming tools. You can even use them to create makeshift funnels, spacers, silencers for rattling gear, or padding inside shoes or bags. Need to protect glass bottles, jars, or even knives during transport. Wrap them with these cardboard rolls. They absorb shock, prevent breakage, and weigh nothing. And here's a clever one most people never think of. You can flatten several tubes, tape them together, and create a surprisingly effective insulation layer under your sleeping bag. It won't make you cozy, but it'll give you just enough of a thermal barrier to preserve body heat off the cold ground. In a world where warmth is survival, even 1 degree matters. People laugh at trash prepping. They assume the best tools are expensive or tactical. But the truth? The quiet survivors win, the ones who look twice at what others ignored. So next time you finish a roll, don't toss the tube. Because when comfort disappears and chaos takes over, even a cardboard ring can keep the fire burning, the seeds growing, and your gear protected. Number 4, metal paint can openers. They cost almost nothing. You get one free every time you buy a paint can. Most people toss them in a drawer, lose them in the garage, or throw them out entirely. But that cheap little metal paint can opener? In a crisis, it becomes one of the most underrated survival tools you could ever own. It's not just about prying lids. That curved tip and flat edge are built for leverage, and leverage is power when you don't have electricity, tools, or time. First, let's talk access. Whether you're opening sealed buckets, paint tins, food storage containers, or even prying open rusted cabinets, this tool lets you get inside without destroying the container. That means you can reseal it later, keep the contents clean, and avoid unnecessary waste. Try doing that with a pocket knife or screwdriver. You'll either break the lid, dull your blade, or hurt yourself. This little opener does it safer, faster, and cleaner. But there's more. That thin metal edge is perfect for scraping, whether you're removing gunk from a tool, getting dried glue off a surface, or stripping labels from jars so you can reuse them. In survival mode, repurposing matters, and having a simple scraping edge helps you do it right. You can also use it to dig small holes for planting, scrape bark for fire tinder, or chip away hardened mud or ice from boots and gear. And if you're ever working near fire or hot surfaces, it's heat-resistant, unlike plastic-handled tools that melt under pressure. Some versions even come with a small flathead edge at the back, giving you a basic screwdriver for small screws or pry tasks. It's not going to replace a full toolbox, but in a blackout or bug-out situation, sometimes all you need is one solid piece of metal to get the job done. It's light enough to carry in your pocket, sharp enough to matter, and cheap enough to have 5 or 6 lying around. That's what makes it powerful. You can stash one in your car, one in your bug-out bag, one in the kitchen drawer, and never think about it again, until the day comes when you need to get into a sealed container and every other tool is missing. That's when this little piece of throwaway hardware turns into gold. Most people saw it as a throw-in, a freebie, a scrap. But when everything collapses and the real world gets stubborn, the ones who survive aren't the ones with the most gear. They're the ones who know how to use what everyone else forgot. Number 5. Magnetic phone mounts. It's one of those modern conveniences you don't think twice about. Stick it to your dashboard, snap on your phone, forget it's even there. But that magnetic phone mount, whether it's a dashboard disc or a wall adhesive hook, might just become one of the most quietly powerful survival tools in your home when the crisis hits. Here's why. Magnets are control. When you lose power, light, and structure, your gear starts to scatter. Items fall, bags rip, cabinets open during quakes or transport, and anything metal becomes a hazard or a lost tool. That's where these compact, high-strength magnets come in. First, they help you organize and anchor. Clip one to the side of a shelf, a vehicle door, or a wall, and suddenly you have a place to snap your metal knife, multi-tool, spoon, keys, or flashlight. In total darkness, that's a game changer. Instead of fumbling through a bag, you reach for the one spot you magnetically locked your essentials, right where your hands expect them to be. That's not comfort. That's speed. That's survival. But these aren't just for holding tools. Mounts with adhesive backs can be placed inside tents, on makeshift walls, inside trailers, or under tables to create hidden gear zones. Snap a steel tin full of meds or matches underneath a shelf and walk away. In a shared environment or when hiding supplies from others, that invisibility could buy you time or safety. The mounts that swivel can also be adapted into 360-degree hooks for lightweight gear. Hang lanterns, clip water bags, or use the pivot to position a signal mirror in the right direction. Some people even repurpose them into solar panel angle holders for DIY battery setups, turning your phone gadget into an off-grid energy anchor. Need a quick compass substitute? Strong magnets can realign a sewing needle for emergency navigation. Drop it on a floating leaf and find your way home. These aren't weak fridge magnets. Phone mounts are made to hold the weight of a phone bouncing in a moving car. That means they're strong enough to hold a full steel multi-tool or a flashlight with batteries. And most come with backup metal plates you can tape to anything else you want to attach, giving you a complete survival grid of quick access points. And when you're moving at night, low on energy, or under stress, knowing exactly where your blade or keys are without a second of searching can be the difference between staying in control and falling apart. Most people see these mounts as accessories, a convenience, a luxury, but in a world without order, gravity takes over, things fall, scatter, get lost. The ones who stay sharp are the ones who plan for that moment and lock their essentials in place before chaos began. Number 6. Old window squeegee. It was made to clean glass. That's it. No one bought a window squeegee thinking they were buying a survival tool. But if you've got one lying in the garage or laundry room, especially the kind with a rubber blade on one side and a long plastic or metal handle, then you're holding one of the most underrated emergency tools no one talks about. When everything collapses and the lights go out, the first thing you'll notice isn't noise, it's filth. Dirty surfaces, fogged windows, mud in your entryway, soot from candles, slippery floors from melted ice or tracked-in rainwater. And without the luxury of running water or electricity, cleanliness suddenly turns into health. That's where the squeegee becomes gold. The rubber edge is designed to move water fast, silently, efficiently, and without soaking cloth after cloth. In a grid-down world where every towel needs to be saved, a simple rubber blade can clean entire surfaces without wasting absorbent materials. But that's just the beginning. The long handle turns this thing into a multi-use extension tool. You can use it to retrieve gear from hard-to-reach places, lift tarps, flip over hot surfaces, even open or close windows at a distance when you don't want to expose yourself. In more extreme conditions, it can be used as a makeshift self-defense stick, quiet, blunt, and better than nothing. And if the blade comes off, that metal or plastic rod becomes a durable pole to support small shelters, hold up clotheslines, or act as a walking stick on rough terrain. The soft rubber strip on the end also makes it perfect for pushing water out of tents, trailers, or improvised shelters, preventing the buildup of standing water, which breeds disease and attracts pests. When it rains or snows, you can clear pathways, solar panels, or small fire pits without soaking gloves or using your hands. And because it's lightweight and flat, it straps easily to a bug-out bag without adding weight or bulk. Most people keep it near the mop, never thinking twice. But in a long-term survival event, when hygiene, reach, and gear versatility matter, this forgotten cleaning tool quietly becomes a one-handed solution to problems you didn't know you'd have. It's not glamorous, it's not tactical. But when the storm hits, and your windows fog, your floor floods, or your gear slips behind a shelf, the squeegee is the only thing that gets it done without wasting your strength or your supplies. Number 7. Cardboard delivery boxes. They pile up by the front door, flattened, tossed, or stuffed in a corner to be recycled later. But in a long-term crisis, those ordinary cardboard delivery boxes, the ones you thought were trash, suddenly become one of the most flexible, multi-purpose tools in your entire home. Because survival isn't always about having the latest gear. Sometimes, it's about seeing value where others see garbage. First, let's talk about insulation. In a blackout, especially during winter, heat retention becomes a daily battle. These cardboard boxes can be cut, layered, and fitted to create inner walls inside rooms, window covers, or sleeping enclosures that trap body heat. Even a single layer taped over a window can reduce heat loss dramatically. Stack several, and you've got a low-cost way to make a cold room livable again. Second, they become instant fire prep stations. You can cut them into strips for fire starting, line kindling bins, or even use them to build a dry, elevated base for a fire pit when the ground is wet or frozen. Since they burn fast and hot, they're great for jump-starting stubborn fires with damp fuel. But that's just the beginning. These boxes can be turned into storage containers, dividers, or even drawers when organizing gear in tight spaces. Label them for medicine, tools, clothing, or food rations. In an emergency, when every second counts, knowing exactly where something is and being able to grab it without digging can make all the difference. Cut, fold, and tape a few together, and you've got a quick way to build a makeshift drawer system inside a closet, under a table, or inside a tent. In dirty environments, flattened cardboard makes for quick, disposable flooring, keeping mud, snow, or pests out of sleeping areas. Use them as sleeping mats, gear staging zones, or drying platforms. If your boots are soaked or your tools are muddy, placing them on cardboard keeps moisture away from other supplies. They can also act as sound dampeners in echo-heavy rooms or camps. Line walls, doors, or cooking areas to reduce clanging, footsteps, or talking from echoing outside. In tense situations where staying quiet can mean staying safe, even that little bit of sound control matters. Got a rainstorm and no tarp? Break open a box, fold it flat, and wrap it in plastic wrap or trash bags. It becomes a temporary roof patch, window cover, or gear shield. You can even use large boxes to create camouflage structures by painting or covering them with brush, perfect for hiding buckets, supplies, or even entrances. Most importantly, they're everywhere. And no one thinks twice about them. That means you can stockpile dozens without raising eyebrows, costing money, or taking up much space. When collapse hits, people will be hoarding gadgets and grabbing flashlights. You'll be reinforcing your shelter, organizing your food, drying your boots, and sleeping warmer, all because you didn't throw away a box. That's survival most people miss, the kind built from things they never looked at twice. Now you understand. Survival wasn't about stockpiling the flashiest gear or building the biggest bunker. It was about noticing what everyone else ignored. The most powerful items weren't in a tactical catalog, they were sitting quietly under your sink, in your garage, on your windowsill. Because when the lights go out, when water stops running, when the world outside turns cold, loud, and desperate, it won't be your gear that keeps you alive. It'll be your ability to repurpose, to adapt, and to see value where others see junk. A mop bucket becomes a mobile water system. A paint can opener becomes your only way into sealed supplies. A leftover box becomes warmth, structure, silence. That's the truth no one tells you. Collapse doesn't reward the most prepared. It rewards the most aware. The ones who train their minds to look twice. The ones who saw tools in trash. The ones who didn't wait to get ready. Because they already were. And if even one of these items today made you pause, made you think, damn, I never saw it that way, then your instincts are waking up. You're not like them. You're paying attention. And that means you're already ahead. But this is just the start. There are hundreds of everyday tools just like these, forgotten, hidden, and priceless when things fall apart. So don't stop here. Hit subscribe, because every single video on this channel is built to train that instinct to help you survive smarter, quieter, and faster than the world around you. One click, one mindset shift. And maybe, one day, The thing they called trash becomes the thing that keeps you breathing. Subscribe now, before someone else thinks to do it first.